So we have the raised bed video coming up, how to protect it from squirrels and other things, how to protect it from frost. We're going to try and plant in January, which I think even in this area might be a little bit of a reach, but we're going to try it. And so rabbit hutches, food storage, all sorts of videos like that. So again, I'll put in the list my old butchering. Hey guys, so we're out trying to get all of the equipment together that we needed to set everything up. Right now I need to set up some seed trays with herbs in them, and because the house is underneath shade, try not to block John from being able to use the mirrors. Because the house is under shade, I need a grow light. So we're gonna go see if we can find a really cheap grow light. We're also trying to find clips for the rabbit cages, and hopefully it'll give us a really nice little series of videos for you guys to follow.
Hi.
Okay, so we're looking for a fluorescent light strip.
There's a camera in my face.
Yeah, that's gonna
So
happen.
you can get them super, super inexpensive. We're just getting a shop light and putting one warm and one cool bulb in it.
So
And
you
I
want me to
think
get it?
maybe we'll just use one of the shelves in the bedroom. I don't know what else to do. I mean, we have a whole empty shelf.
Shelves into the kitchen.
I have used those shelves for grow lights a lot, and it is the cheapest way to do it. Okay, so that was super exciting. One of the things I hate about grow lights is the fact that they have mercury in them and they're breakable. And so I feel horrible about eventually those things are going to go back to be recycled, but I don't feel like mercury is a fantastic thing to be putting into the environment. These are LEDs and they are mercury free as well as glass free. And they're supposed to last as it claims. That's what it's claiming. And so it also it has like a really long life, long bulb life.
It's just too good to be true.
Just too good to be true. I'm super excited. Do they even look like they'll fit in it? We got the right, okay. So we're looking for planting trays now. I think we're probably going in the wrong direction because gardening is that way. That way. Okay.
No, because this would get the response of first world problems in the male sense.
No, I think it's funny.
No, it's hilarious. Does anybody understand the torture of having a woman that wants to spend hours perusing up and down the halls of Home Depot, looking at furring strips, trying them on, possibly eyeballing and oogling the PVC, and then deciding not to buy? So window shopping everywhere. It's amusing. Let's call it amusing. So they're all going to complain that I'm such a whiner, and of all the things to complain about, the hardware store. Huh, how picked on am I that I have to be following you. So Kaya, did you want to tell them how rough it is?
I think it's kind of boring,
Uh-huh.
but it's fun building.
It's fun building? It is fun building, huh?
How many 2x4s do you have left that were good?
0. Well,
I thought they were
there was a
under that
6-footer and a 4-footer, I think. I should have realized, yes.
There's
She
something
will be
wrong
my,
with this woman.
she will be my building queen. Building queen.
Isn't there a song about that?
I don't remember.
Dancing Queen.
No, it's building queen.
It's not
You're my building queen.
No, golden star. Buckle golden star.
Like a Gangnam style?
Golden star.
That's what it is. Okay.
Where's the card? Oh, there.
We should call Tiny Texas Houses and see if he has any like old ancient stuff that we could throw into that. Like the crystal doorknobs.
These. I need
See, that we call
hinges. I need
what?
hinges for the duck door.
Oh, gotcha.
So talk to me about this project.
Which one are we on now?
So we have no
The
sunlight.
casters, correct.
And so if we were to build a gardening box that was light, that I could move from the darker part that is our lawn, and in the morning move it out into the light so that it's not killing the grass because we're in a rental. But if I could move it from one part of the lawn to the next part of the lawn where it would get full sun, something like this, a heavy-duty caster.
So, two things. Those casters will never work on dirt.
Well, we're
They
not
would
putting
be
them
on concrete. So if you wanted to put it in the driveway and moved it up and down the driveway, that's fine.
Right, that's where it would
You
go.
would, okay.
But it would
Second
be going
thing,
from grass to concrete
right,
to grass.
but the weight is going to be the same no matter what. So if you could get it onto grass once it's fully loaded up, you'll never get it off that grass. It would never
so
move.
what would be a better one?
So either your other options are leave it on concrete forever or find just the widest caster you could possibly
Not
find.
like Paige has.
But it's still, well, that one's heavy duty,
Here, Paige,
but it's still only an inch wide wheel. You'd need like a 5-inch wheel.
my concern is that if we have too much weight on them, that like we could put two wheels at the end, so that you could lift them and move them, and then put this in on blocks to stabilize it.
Okay.
But I'm concerned that with water and everything else in it, the cost would be prohibitive to build enough that you could do that.
Correct. That's exactly what I'm saying. Hey, look, fidget spinners, the floor edition. Think
So what's the solution?
Think 35-inch Super Swamper truck tires. Or tractor tires.
So what's the solution?
I don't know that there is a solution.
Because I need to be able to
You could,
that
if you
tiny
leave,
little strip of sunlight.
if you left the wheels on the concrete and then just set the other two just off, I think you wouldn't have a sinking problem. But where there's so much clay and sand here, you're going to sink daily.
My problem is I don't want to kill the grass because I'm in a rental.
Right. So I'm not sure that I'm moving. You talking about killing the grass, i.e.
I can't have the garden bed on top of the grass because it'll kill it. If I can move it out and mow it once a week, I can see that this is the next problem my brain is going to be.
Okay, I'm just letting you know that you will want a 4 or 5-inch wide caster. Yeah, that wide. Because otherwise
Well, for something like that,
it will sink and you will be pulling it out of.
For something like that, I'm going to need an axle.
Possibly.
underneath the bed.
Right. I don't know. Because every night, if that wheel was not on concrete, you would try to be pulling it out of a hole that it had sunk and made for itself during the day.
Because it rains here.
Because it rains here, because it's sand, because it's loam, because it's everything but rock. That's what you need is bowling ball sized rocks here. That would keep it from sinking.
What about this one? What about this one, Dad?
We have two rentals, the one next door and then ours. Well, not even ours, our the renter in front of us. So we have this little strip of lawn that would be great for a garden, but it's shared. That strip of grass is shared by 3 different people, and so I don't want to kill the grass for when we're not there anymore because they'll have to get the grass restarted.
Right. So what about something in the back?
There's no sun in the back, none. Even in the backyard.
Then
Even
out
in
on
the
the
backyard,
front
that is
sidewalk.
our front yard.
Right. Then wheel it out to the sidewalk by the street every morning.
So it is a beautiful day, absolutely beautiful day. We haven't had one like this for a week and a half, 2 weeks. Our house does look a little bit, or our yard does look a little awful. When you're collecting free supplies, you have a tendency to build them up and they don't look very beautiful. But once they're in the grow bed, they're beautiful. And I wanted to bring this out so John could explain what he's doing. Thank you, John. John is a lifesaver because, as you guys know, I haven't had a video up for a bit. And so he can explain what he's doing. But I'll walk over here and show the wood real quick so that you can see why why he's doing what he is. So this is our initial compost. It's been working really well. We had to move it, but this is where we're going to put the grow bed on because I really don't want to mess around with all the vines. There's a lot of vines out here and I don't want to mess with them. And so we're going to put the grow bed on top of this old piece of plywood that we found. So we have all these great leaves, we have the paper. One problem is when your kids are the ones who are out here helping with the composting by bringing it out, a lot of times they don't secure it well. So that's why we have a little bit of paper out here. But I'm going to leave you with John. Okay, so this kind of thing, this is compostable. We can put that in the compost. That's carbon.
Want to show them
Do
the
you
other
want
one?
it taller?
Want to show them the one that's not?
These nails, they won't hurt anything. I could put them in the compost, but I don't necessarily like to have a lot of metal in my compost because later it's going to be dirt and I don't want kids getting hurt by it.
Alright, so basically we're going to try and build a 3 foot by 4 foot by roughly 8 foot box. We had to trim a little bit off of those 2x4s because where they're recycled they have nails in the end. Probably need to replace the saw blade now because we did hit some of those nails. So, gonna flush up our 4x. These will be our corner posts. Cut them at 36 inches. Actually, I'm going to go ask Julie something. See if we can want to cut them at 48 inches, have them a little taller.
Hey Dad, I know school.
Amazing.
And I can come out.
Alright, darling.
Painting yesterday.
Let me think of something. So the boards, the way that you've got it drawn out, are at the very bottom and the very top.
And the middle.
In the middle. But if I lift the bottom one up off the ground about 4 to 6 inches, it will actually provide support rather than just being a placekeeper for the 4x4s.
It'll let critters in.
You think it'll let critters in there? Okay.
Yeah, I just put it along the bottom.
Okay.
Dad?
If we found a place to put 4 2x4s, because you're at 42 inches, this is where that measurement came out. So that's 3.5 feet. And so you will have one board in 3.5 feet that's actually holding everything together. I guess the top board does a little bit too, but until you get it full. I'm not sure that that's going to be enough support. What are your thoughts, dear?
In the past I used a pallet and it gave enough support. I do have a couple that I have built this way before and it does, over the course of a couple years, it does bow.
Okay.
But the first year, it's just pretty much a placeholder, and as you have more 2x4s, you can put more 2x4s on. For now, it's not a big deal.
Okay.
And we can pretty it up as we go, but first off, we need to see, did we put it in the right spot? Is it even working?
Okay.
And then we can add more lumber.
Sounds good.
If we had a big 2x4, we would totally use a big 2x4 instead.
But all we got is a little 2x4?
The pallet, if we had a big pallet.
Okay.
What I did in my last bed was that I put tin on the inside. And so it had a lot more structural integrity than just fencing wire. And so if we had a whole bunch of extra garbage tin, I would use tin, but we don't have garbage tin. We just have the nice tin to put on the duck house. So
Okay. There
we're
we
just
go.
doing our best.
Okay. Thank you. And Merry Christmas, everybody.
This one was not charged. I have not been watering it with rabbit manure tea at all. I wanted to see what would happen if I put seeds in a cold bed. So there's my seedlings. We'll see how they do. And this one is the hotbed. This is the one that I have been charging with rabbit manure tea, and it has a lot of steam coming. Can you see the steam? I'm going to be so sad if you can't see the steam. Can you see it? So hotbed, cold bed. I'm going to see if I can catch it this morning so you can see. When I move the tray, see this bed is very warm right above. So I'm going to move the tray, watch for the steam. Can you see it? Greens several times. We're always pulling radishes out of here. I think those are radishes. So when I'm ready to plant, I just tip it one way or the other. It just holds up like that.
Now, I did broadcasting in here as well as just lines of vegetables. I did both just to see what the difference would be. And sometimes the first planting doesn't make it, so you just make another planting. And that could be because of the frost. It could be because it didn't have enough fertilizer. You just don't know, and it doesn't really matter. What matters is that you go ahead and plant something else. Eventually the straw bale will mellow and start to decompose. And so regardless, it will do what you want to do. It just might take a little more time, depending on the way that you set things up.
I'm just getting ready to fill that one up. I have all of that manure in the wheelbarrow, manure and straw that I'm going to spread as the top layer before I put the dirt on.
We don't normally get this sort of torrential downpour.
Okay, so I don't know. Are you okay if I use your name?
Yes.
Okay, Romerick, right? Romerick? Okay, so Romerick is spreading out. So here's the layer of paper. There's Daniel bringing all the winter I filled it for short people. This is the inside, so it's a raised bed, and I pushed it up against this wall. My favorite hardware is elbows, like the metal elbows, because I don't have to have brute force in order to get that nail to go through, and I can use shorter nails, so I'm not snapping them off if I use them incorrect. Once again, I'm not Wrangler Star. Everything he makes is beautiful, and everything that I make is just good enough. I think that's about as good as it's going to get. Short top.
So you can see how much paper and manure there is.
Fluctuation between being about 100 degrees during the day in here and then just below freezing at night is a little hard on them. So we're going to come in and set up some of these. These are just, I think they were 10 or 15 gauge wire. We bought it in a roll and I just cut it to length. And I use these to hold plastic and frost cloth off the vegetables. I use these outside as well. Okay, so that's what it would look like. Again, it's better with one big piece because with one big piece it drapes in a long piece and you don't end up with these sagging bits in between. The sagging bits are going to touch the plants and then it can bend the plants in and they won't grow as well. So if I have a really hot hotbed, I don't put this on. There's no point. The hotbed's hot. It'll keep things from freezing. But once the hotbed cools down a little bit, this works well at night. And warm. Then I'm going to come over here and start charging this one. But for now, I'm just going to let it sit. I'm going to let it sit because I want it to be my backup heater for the greenhouse. And if I start it up right now, it can't be a backup heater. It will be a heater at the same time. And then I won't have more space to bring another one in. And you can see I have the other hotbed all built up and ready to go. I have a lot of wood in there, so we're trying wood chips, hugelkultur, and rabbit manure. I don't know how that's going to go. You can see that the frost on this side is starting to melt. The frost on this side is still quite solid. This one, I watered it down the other day, and oh my gosh, all the mushrooms came out to play. I did have my tray of tomatoes out here, and they were doing just fine because of the bottom heat from the bed, and then I put a blanket over the top. But the mice came up in the night and ate the seeds from the tomatoes and my basil. I had basil and peppers and tomatoes in here in a flat, and they were just fine, but the mice came up and got it. And so you can see where the central heat is from the manure and the wood chips, and it's really warm. And that's, I haven't watered it for a couple days, but it's really warm in there. So I think I preferred this method, the wood chips and the rabbit manure, to the straw bales. The straw bales was just a lot easier to set up. It was just so fast and so quick. Plant it deeply. It's the second week in April, and this is what I have from the hotbed. And I don't think I would have had as good a result if I had done it just in the greenhouse and not in the hotbed. And I have done this before in a cold frame and had results this early. So if you don't have a greenhouse, use a cold frame, use a hotbed, use a cold frame on a hotbed, that kind of thing. It's all possible, even in a zone 4 where we still have nights that are down in the 20s. They need bottom heat and just protection. Hi, honey. And so this is my third picking just from that small bed, and we have a lot more in there. There's a really pretty one. This is my active hotbed, the one that is still hot. And I planted them. I know these are squash, but you can see the tomato inside too. The goats are the most helpful part. They are eternally helpful as they eat our new bushes. Do you need to go out in the back pasture, little one?
They both have.
Huh? Lots and lots of Swiss chard. And I need to go out and do it again because it's getting thick enough that the smaller ones that are still coming up aren't having enough sunlight. And we've had nights below freezing for the last 3 weeks. It's more Swiss chard. And in here I have kale and spinach